All right, so you're gearing up for this interview, right? A confectionery specialized seller.
Sounds delicious.
We've got all these RoleCatcher resources, career guides, interview guides, even AI feedback.
Yeah,
We're going to help you nail this thing.
absolutely. It's like we're helping you craft the perfect candy display.
Exactly.
And we're going to make sure your skills like stand out right, make them irresistible to those hiring managers. Like a beautifully crafted truffle.
Okay, so let's first maybe just unpack what a confectionery specialized seller, what they actually do.
Right.
Because it's not just selling candy. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
It's really about like, creating an experience.
Yeah.
Think about like recommending the perfect box of chocolates
Yeah.
for a birthday or,
Yeah.
like building one of those displays.
Right.
You walk into a store and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Like mouth watering.
Sure.
That's part of the job. And, and then there's the skills.
Yeah. What are the skills?
Well, if you look in the what they do section and the functions and core abilities, obviously customer service is huge.
Of course, yeah.
You got to know your confectionery.
Oh, yeah.
Inside and out, inventory management. It's a blend of creativity.
Okay.
But also, like, there's some serious business savvy that goes into this.
Right. And I think it's also important to mention, too, that work environment section gives us a little bit of, like, insider info. You're going to be on your feet.
Right.
You're interacting with people constantly.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe lifting heavy boxes of deliciousness,
Oh, yeah.
So is this a good fit for you? You got to ask yourself that.
You got to be ready to hustle.
Okay, so let's dive into these interview questions.
All right.
Because RoleCatcher's interview guide gives us 10, key questions that they're probably going to ask.
Okay.
And we're going to break them down. These aren't just, prompts. They're opportunities to tell your story.
Yeah.
Showcase what makes you a confectionery rock star.
Totally. And, like, the first one is a classic.
Okay.
What inspired you to pursue a career in confectionery sales?
Oh, yeah.
Seems simple, right? But it's an invitation to go deeper.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, oh, I love candy. Like, everyone loves candy.
Everyone.
What really sparked your passion? Like, was there a childhood memory tied to a specific candy?
Yeah, right.
Or, like, maybe you saw one of those incredible chocolate sculptures.
Ooh.
And you were just blown away.
Yeah.
Share that story. Share that spark because it shows something unique about you.
I think it's a good way to stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely.
Because as you said, everyone loves candy.
Yeah.
What's unique about you and your love for candy?
And connect that passion to the role.
Yeah.
Like maybe your love for crafting these elaborate dessert platters, that shows visual merchandising skills.
Right. Right.
Right? Or your fascination with international candy.
Oh, yeah.
Shows like you've got this knack for understanding different tastes.
Interesting.
So you can connect those things.
Okay, here's one that I think really gets to the core of the sales skills.
Right, lay it on me.
What strategies have you used in the past to increase sales in a confectionery store?
Ah, the money question.
So this is where specific examples are your best friend.
Yeah. Think about those times you went above and beyond.
Yeah.
Like, did you create a themed display that just, like, boosted sales?
Right.
Or maybe you started a loyalty program to get people coming back for more.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give them those numbers, those metrics.
Quantify.
Yeah. Like, sales increased by 15% sounds a lot better than just sales went up.
Way better.
So how do you use RoleCatcher for something like this, to refine those answers?
Well, imagine having like an expert coach.
Yeah.
Helping you fine-tune every single word, making sure your responses hit all the right notes. That's what RoleCatcher's AI does.
Right? Like it's like a personal interview prep team.
Totally.
It's available 24/7.
There you go.
You just put in your draft answers and you get this instant feedback.
Yeah.
And it's tailored to the job. Like that's amazing.
It is. And it highlights areas where you can like add more details.
Yep.
Showcase those skills or even anticipate those tricky follow-up questions.
Okay, let's move on to one that I know a lot of people get a little nervous about.
Oh boy.
How have you managed difficult customers in a confectionery sales role? Don't shy away from this one.
No, this is important.
It's an opportunity to show your, composure, your problem-solving skills.
Yeah, like we all have those stories.
Yeah.
Think about a time when you turned that frown upside down.
Right.
You know, did you calm down an irritated customer by offering them a sample of a new flavor?
Oh, that's good.
Or maybe you, diffused a tense situation with your knowledge of dietary restrictions, finding the perfect alternative for someone with allergies.
Oh, yeah. That's huge nowadays.
It is huge.
So many different allergies and dietary needs.
Yeah. So what's important is to focus on the actions you took to resolve the situation.
Right?
Stay positive, don't blame the customer,
Yeah.
and highlight the skills you use to turn that negative into a positive.
That's great. And be prepared for follow-up questions on this.
Oh, yeah.
Like they might ask, what did you learn from this experience?
Mm-hmm.
Or how would you handle a similar situation differently in the future?
Right.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can really help
Right.
because you can practice and be ready for anything they throw at you.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's switch gears a little bit to a question that I think assesses your industry knowledge.
Okay, I like this.
How do you stay up to date with trends in the confectionery industry? It's not enough to just say, I've got a sweet tooth. You got to show them you're a true enthusiast.
Yeah, you got to be a confectionery nerd.
Yes.
Like, own it.
Okay, so what kind of things could you tell them?
Well, think about the specific sources you follow. Are there trade publications, industry blogs? Maybe you're following, like, famous chocolatiers on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Name drop, name drop, name drop.
Yeah.
Have you been to any industry events, taken any online courses?
Yeah, yeah.
And don't be afraid to, like, really nerd out here. Share what fascinates you about this world.
I love that.
Is it new flavor combos, sustainable packaging, the art of chocolate tempering? I mean, enthusiasm is contagious.
It is. Okay.
It'll rub off on them.
Let's talk about relationships.
Right.
Building relationships.
Yeah.
How do you approach building relationships with new clients in the confectionery industry? This is where you showcase your ability to connect with people on a more personal level.
Yeah, you got to go beyond just, like, the transaction.
Yeah.
Right. It's about building those genuine, lasting connections.
So what are some things that come to mind when you hear that question?
Well, strong relationships are built on authenticity and a real desire to help your client succeed. So think about how you demonstrate that. Do you take the time to, like, research their business, understand their target market?
Right?
Do you offer personalized recommendations based on, like, their specific needs?
Yeah.
Show that you're going the extra mile.
Now imagine they ask you, can you give me an example of a time you went the extra mile for a client?
Ooh, a story.
That's a perfect opportunity.
Love it.
To show your dedication and your commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? This ties in perfectly with something from the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Okay.
They talk about the different career stages in confectionery sales. And as you move up from, like, a junior sales assistant to a more senior role, building and nurturing those client relationships, it becomes even more important.
Oh, I see.
So it's a journey.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher gives you the guidance for every step.
Okay.
So whether you're aiming to be a sales manager, a key account manager, even a director of confectionery sales, you'll have the resources to navigate your career path and achieve your goals.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
All right, let's talk about the supply chain.
Okay.
What is your experience working with confectionery distributors? Now, don't worry, if you haven't, like, directly negotiated big contracts.
Yeah.
It's more about showing your knowledge
Yeah.
of the process and your ability to manage inventory.
Right.
So think about any relevant experiences you've had. Maybe you've placed orders, tracked deliveries, or even just, like, dealt with stock shortages in a retail setting. What you want to highlight is, like, your organizational skills, your attention to detail, and your ability to, like, collaborate with suppliers.
Right.
Teamwork. The interviewer might follow up with something like, what are some challenges you faced when working with distributors?
Yeah.
So this is a chance to show your problem-solving skills.
Right.
You know?
How you navigate those tricky situations. Think about a specific example.
Yeah.
Like, what was a tough situation and how did you solve it?
And again, RoleCatcher's AI feedback can really help you prepare for these curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can practice, you can anticipate those tricky follow-up questions, and you can just walk in there feeling confident.
Confidence is key.
Yes. All right, now let's talk about leadership.
Okay.
Because even if you haven't had, like, a formal management role, the question, how do you manage a team of sales associates in a confectionery store, is a chance to shine.
Right.
So think about times you stepped up, maybe you trained a new colleague, maybe you took charge during, like, a busy holiday rush.
Yeah.
What you want to highlight here is, like, your approach to teamwork, to communication, to motivation.
Yeah. How do you get people excited? How do
Yeah.
you keep the energy up? Especially when it's,
It's busy.
Crazy busy.
So did you create a fun and collaborative environment? Did you find ways to like recognize achievements?
Yeah, those little things matter.
Those are the details that make a difference.
And the interviewer might ask, like, what's your approach to delegating tasks?
Of course.
Or how do you handle conflicts within a team?
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah.
So practicing with RoleCatcher's AI for those kinds of questions is really invaluable.
Oh, yeah. It's like having a mock interview,
Yeah.
where you can test out different responses,
Right.
refine your delivery, and build that confidence.
Yeah.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Okay. Now let's tap into your artistic side a little bit.
All right, let's get creative.
How do you approach creating a confectionery display that appeals to customers? So this is all about visual merchandising.
Yeah.
It's turning a collection of sweets into like a symphony of colors, textures, temptations.
It's like art, but with candy.
Exactly.
Oh.
So imagine you're an artist, the candy's your paint. How would you arrange those truffles, those gummies, those chocolate bars to like create a masterpiece
Ooh, I like that. A masterpiece.
that draws people in?
Make them stop and stare.
Exactly. So think about using themes, seasonal colors. You could even use props to like tell a story.
Yeah.
You want to create a display that's not just visually appealing, but like sparks curiosity.
Right.
Encourages those impulse buys.
I need that.
Exactly. And be prepared to discuss the practical aspects too, like the lighting, the signage,
Yeah.
even the psychology of product placement.
Ooh, that's deep.
Right. This is where your passion for confectionery meets your business savvy.
Absolutely. And you know what? This ties back to that RoleCatcher Career Guide again.
Okay.
They talk about how as you move up that career ladder, your understanding of visual merchandising, it just becomes more and more crucial.
Right.
So whether you're managing a single store or overseeing a whole chain, creating those impactful displays, that's key to driving sales and brand recognition.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk organization.
All right, let's get organized.
How do you prioritize your tasks in a confectionery sales role? Now, this one might seem straightforward, but it's a chance to show how you handle the demands of this, this fast-paced, sweet gig.
It can get hectic.
Oh, yeah. So what's your system? Do you use a to-do list? Do you prioritize by urgency?
Right.
By the impact on sales? Share those concrete examples of how you juggle everything.
Yeah. You got to have a method to the madness.
You got to have a system. And remember those seasonal rushes.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Valentine's Day, Halloween, the holidays.
It's the whirlwind.
Being able to adapt and stay organized under pressure, that is a highly sought-after skill.
For sure.
And this is where the interviewer might ask, how do you handle stress?
Ah, the stress question.
So your answer should show your resilience, your adaptability,
Right.
your ability to stay positive even when things get crazy.
Yeah, got to stay cool under pressure.
You got to stay cool. Okay, speaking of handling pressure, let's talk about customer complaints.
Okay, the dreaded complaints.
They're going to ask you something like, how do you handle a situation where a customer is unhappy with a product they've purchased?
Yeah.
This is all about showing empathy and problem solving.
Right, you got to turn that frown upside down again.
Exactly. So the key here is to listen attentively, acknowledge their feelings,
Yeah.
and offer a resolution that leaves them feeling valued.
Like they matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you offer a replacement, a refund, a sincere apology, maybe a discount on their next purchase?
Right, show them you care.
So be prepared to share specific examples.
Yeah.
Highlight your ability to turn that negative into a positive.
Absolutely.
Because a satisfied customer is more likely to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It'll spread the word, too.
Yeah. And again, RoleCatcher's AI, you can use that to rehearse these scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
Get feedback on your tone, your language, your approach. You'll walk into that interview feeling much more confident.
Absolutely. You know what? While we're talking about, handling those tough situations and customer complaints, it's like sprinkle in another gem from the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Okay.
The importance of continuous learning.
I like that.
The confectionery industry is always evolving. New flavors, trends, technologies.
Yeah.
You got to stay ahead of the curve, especially as you progress in your career.
Right.
So mention any industry publications you follow, online courses you've taken. Maybe you even experiment with creating your own confectionery concoctions.
I love that.
It shows you're not just passionate about candy, you're invested in the future of this delicious industry.
That's a great point.
All right. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to touch on something that can really make or break an interview.
Oh, what's that?
Your nonverbal communication.
Oh, the The unspoken language.
Yeah, those smiles, eye contact, confident posture,
Right, right.
all that good stuff. So while practicing your answers with RoleCatcher is crucial, don't underestimate the power of presenting yourself authentically and enthusiastically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta come across as genuine,
Yeah,
right,
it's pretty good.
passionate.
Because you're not just selling candy,
Yeah.
you're selling yourself.
Okay.
And the best way to do that is to be genuine, enthusiastic, ready to share your love for all things sweet.
I love that.
Right.
That's a great way to think about it. Okay, so we've talked about showcasing your skills.
Mm.
We've talked about practicing those answers. But an interview is a two-way street.
Oh, that's right.
What about the questions that you ask?
Yes.
Those are important too.
They are. It shows curiosity. It
Yeah.
shows initiative.
Okay, so what are some good questions to ask?
Well, what do you genuinely want to know about their company culture,
Okay.
their approach to customer service,
Right.
or their plans for the confectionery department?
Yeah.
Maybe ask about their challenges.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest obstacles you're facing in this market? Or how do you stay ahead of the competition? It shows you're thinking critically and you're ready to tackle those hurdles.
That's a great point.
Yeah. And here's where those career insights from RoleCatcher can come in handy.
Okay.
You could ask about opportunities for growth, training programs, or even their mentoring program.
Yeah.
It shows you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career path, a place where you can learn and grow.
That's a great point. Okay, so before we send you off to conquer that interview, let's talk about authenticity. You can prepare all you want, but ultimately they want to see the real you,
Yeah,
the person who's genuinely passionate about confectionery.
that's right. Let that passion shine through
Yeah.
in your answers, your questions, everything you do.
So think about what excites you about this world. Is it the art of chocolate making?
Mhm.
Is it the science of flavor pairings? The joy of creating those memorable customer experiences?
Yeah,
Let that come through.
absolutely. And, remember, you're not just selling candy.
Right.
You're selling yourself. And the best way to do that is to be genuine, be enthusiastic, and be ready to share your love for all things sweet.
I love that.
Right. Let your personality shine.
Okay, so one final piece of advice.
All right, give it to me.
Don't forget to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a job interview, but it's also a chance to connect with people who share your passion.
That's right.
So relax, enjoy the conversation, let your personality shine through.
And smile.
Yes, a genuine smile can go a long way.
Absolutely.
So go out there, showcase your skills, and make that interview a sweet success.
You got this.
And remember, RoleCatcher is always here to support you.
Every step of the way. Okay, so we just tackled that question about working with distributors.
Right.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about leadership.
Okay.
Because even if you haven't had like a formal management role, they might ask you something like, how do you manage a team of sales associates in a confectionery store? This is a chance to really shine,
Right, because you can show them those leadership skills even if you haven't had that title.
Exactly, exactly. So think about those times when you've stepped up, maybe you trained a new colleague, or maybe you took charge during a busy holiday rush.
Yeah.
And what you want to highlight here is your approach to teamwork, to communication, to motivation.
Yeah. How do you get people excited?
Right. How do you keep the energy up, especially when it's crazy busy?
Oh yeah, those holiday rushes can be intense.
Intense. So think about, did you create a fun and collaborative environment?
Right.
Did you find ways to recognize achievements?
Mm-hmm.
Those little things matter.
They do.
And the interviewer might ask, what's your approach to delegating tasks?
Okay.
Or how do you handle conflicts within a team?
Those are good ones.
Yeah, you got to be ready for those.
And again, practicing with RoleCatcher's AI can be so helpful for those types of questions.
Oh, absolutely. It's like having a mock interview, where you can test out different responses, you can refine your delivery, and you can really build that confidence.
Yeah.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Okay, now let's tap into your artistic side.
Ooh, okay. I like this.
How do you approach creating a confectionery display that appeals to customers?
Mm.
This is all about visual merchandising.
Right.
It's turning a collection of sweets into a symphony of colors, textures, temptations.
It's like art, but with candy.
Exactly. So imagine you're an artist, the candy is your paint. How would you arrange those truffles, those gummies, those chocolate bars to create a masterpiece?
Ooh, I like that. a masterpiece.
Yeah, that draws people in.
Make them stop and stare.
Exactly.
Really.
So think about using themes, seasonal colors. You could even use props to like tell a story.
Yeah. You want to create a display that's not just visually appealing, but like sparks curiosity.
Right.
Encourages those impulse buys.
Yeah, like, oh, I need that.
Exactly. And be prepared to talk about the practical stuff too, like the lighting, the signage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the psychology of product placement.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right.
This is where your passion for confectionery meets that business savvy.
Absolutely. And you know what? This ties back to that RoleCatcher Career Guide again.
Okay.
They talk about how as you move up the career ladder, understanding visual merchandising, it becomes even more crucial.
Right.
So whether you're managing a single store or you're overseeing a whole chain of stores, creating those impactful displays, it's really key to driving sales and brand recognition.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about organization.
All right, let's get organized.
How do you prioritize your tasks in a confectionery sales role?
Yeah.
This might seem like a straightforward question, but it's a chance to show how you handle all the demands of this, this sweet gig.
It can get hectic.
It can. So what's your system? Do you use a to-do list? Do you prioritize by urgency or the impact on sales? You want to be able to share those concrete examples of how you juggle everything.
Yeah, you got to have a method to the madness.
You got to have a system. And remember those seasonal rushes?
Oh, yeah.
Valentine's Day, Halloween, all the holidays.
The sugar rush is real.
Being able to adapt and stay organized under pressure, that is a really valuable skill.
Absolutely. And this is probably where the interviewer might ask, how do you handle stress?
Okay, yeah.
So your answers should show your resilience, your adaptability, your ability to stay positive, even when things are getting crazy.
Got to stay cool under pressure.
Gotta stay cool. All right, speaking of pressure, let's talk about customer complaints.
Okay, yeah.
How do you handle a situation where a customer is unhappy with the product they purchased? This is all about empathy and problem solving.
Right. You got to turn that frown upside down.
Got to turn that frown upside down. So the key here is to listen attentively.
Yeah.
Acknowledge their feelings and offer a resolution that makes them feel valued.
So did you offer a replacement? Did you offer a refund? A sincere apology? Maybe a discount on a future purchase.
Right. Show them you care.
Be prepared to share those specific examples. Highlight your ability to turn that negative experience into a positive one.
Absolutely, because a satisfied customer is way more likely to come back,
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to tell their friends.
And they're going to tell their friends. Again, RoleCatcher's AI, you can use that to rehearse those scenarios, get feedback on your tone, your language, your approach, and just walk into that interview feeling so much more confident.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about, handling those tough situations, those customer complaints, let's sprinkle in another gem from the RoleCatcher Career Guide.
Oh, hey.
The importance of continuous learning.
Oh, I like that.
The confectionery industry is constantly evolving. There's new flavors, new trends, new technologies coming out all the time.
It's true. It's true.
So you got to stay ahead of the curve, especially as you progress in your career.
Right.
So mention any industry publications you follow, online courses you've taken. Maybe you even experiment at home creating your own confectionery concoctions.
Oh, I love that.
Right. It shows you're not just passionate about candy, you're invested in the future of this delicious industry.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
All right. And now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that can really make or break an interview.
Ooh, okay. What's that?
Your nonverbal communication.
Ah, the unspoken language.
Yes, the smiles, the eye contact, the confident posture, all that good stuff.
Right, right.
So while practicing your answers with RoleCatcher is crucial, don't underestimate the power of just presenting yourself authentically and enthusiastically.
Yeah, you got to come across as genuine.
You got to be genuine.
Passionate.
You got it. Because remember, you're not just selling candy, you're selling yourself.
Okay.
And the best way to do that is to be genuine, be enthusiastic, and be ready to share your love for all things sweet.
I love that.
Right.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, so we've talked about showcasing your skills, practicing your answers.
Right.
But an interview is a two-way street.
That's right. It's not just them grilling you. You get to ask questions, too.
You got it. And those questions you ask, they can be just as important as the answers you give.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So what kind of things should we be asking?
Well, think of it as like showing genuine curiosity and initiative.
Oh,
what do you want to know about their company culture,
Mm-hmm.
their approach to customer service, their plans for the future of their confectionery department.
Right, right.
Don't be afraid to delve into their challenges too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe ask, what are some of the biggest obstacles you face in this market?
Mm-hmm.
Or how do you stay ahead of the competition? It shows you're thinking critically, you're ready to tackle those hurdles head on.
I like that it shows you're not afraid of a challenge.
Exactly. And this is where those career insights from RoleCatcher can be really helpful.
There.
You can ask about opportunities for growth within the company, training programs, their approach to mentoring.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It shows you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career path.
Right, a place where you can learn and grow.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Any final thoughts before we send our listeners off to crush those interviews?
You can prepare all you want, but at the end of the day, they want to see the real you.
Yeah.
The person who's genuinely passionate about confectionery.
Right. Yeah.
So think about what truly excites you about this world.
Okay.
Is it the art of chocolate making? The science of flavor pairings? The joy of creating those memorable customer experiences?
Let that passion shine through.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your answers, your questions, your whole demeanor.
You're not just selling candy, you're selling yourself.
You got it. And the best way to do that is to be genuine, be enthusiastic, and be ready to share your love for all things sweet.
That's great advice. Okay, so one final piece of advice from me.
All right, let's hear it.
Don't forget to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a job interview, it can be nerve-wracking,
Yeah,
but it's also a chance to connect with people who share your passion.
that's true.
So relax, enjoy the conversation, let your personality shine through.
And smile.
Yes, a genuine smile can go a long way.
Absolutely.
So go out there, showcase your skills, make that interview a sweet success.
You got this.
And remember, RoleCatcher is always here to support you on your journey to a delicious career.
Every step of the way.